I've had several of you ask for this video. It's going to be on the short game and how I approach it. I'm going to show you some things out here in the lab, but I've also got some on-course footage. Let's get into this one. Hey everybody, welcome back to Golf Test Dummy, the channel where I use my game to try and help your game. I'm out here in the lab on the virtual short game area. Yes, I'm in the Matrix, but I've also got some on-course footage from a place not too far down the road from here where I go and practice my short game in the real world. Feel free to leave your comments down below on how your short game works and share with the rest of the group. Let's go. All right, some of the footage that I shot out on the short game area, you may have some more questions. You might want to go a little bit more in depth, so I'm going to try and break that down to you here. First of all, the setup in my bag, I've got a 60-degree and a 54-degree in the Cleveland CBX wedge. I've also got my approach wedge and my pitching wedge, which is actually a wedge. So I've technically got 4 wedges in my set. Now, I use all of them, and a lot of people will tell you that it's important to have a wide variety of wedges so you could play a lot of different shots and dial in a lot of different distances. And that's true, I would say that, but there are 2 different schools of thought. I'm not sure exactly which ones you guys are going to subscribe to out there. However, some people say to carry less wedges and to use the same club all the time to make a multitude of different shots, while other people may say, hey, don't ever change up your technique, just change your club. Which school of thought are you? I personally like to mix it up. Now, inevitably, there are going to be people that are going to ask me about ball position and my grip and how do I set my weight and this and that and the other. And I'm going to tell you, if you're looking for really specific type of information out of me for that, you might be a little bit disappointed because I'm more on instinct. I am very much a feel player when it comes to the short game. And I've got just a couple of little philosophies that ring true. Number one is that I'm always trying to throw the golf ball toward the spot that I've chosen on the green. I've mentioned this in a prior video. I get a lot of my inspiration on this from Hale Irwin, Raymond Floyd, Monty Scheinblum, where they talk about just making a toss. And you say, okay, well, how do I hit this shot? How hard do I hit this shot? And their advice is always the same. Hit it as hard as you would throw it. So I really just break the shots down into 3 groups. And there's one that I really try to avoid. The first one is just a simple chip. Now, a chip to me, it's important that we define these. A chip to me is a shot that hits the green fairly quickly and rolls most of the way to the hole. Whereas a pitch can be anything from, say, half carry to half roll, and then mostly carry to just a little bit of roll. Those 2 shots are the ones that I play most of the time. Very, very infrequently, I will look to play what's known as a flop shot or a lob shot, a high pitch shot. I'm not going for these insanely low percentage shots. I'm trying to keep it very simple. So really, I just look at things as either a chip or a pitch. We're going to start with the chip. I've got my pitching wedge in my hand. I'm going to show you the setup really quick. I'm going to have my feet kind of close together, almost like I was going to putt. I'm going to put more weight on my front side. I'm actually going to just let my left leg support me. If you're a left-hander, it would be your right leg. You'd be on the opposite side. I'm going to cheat the ball position back toward my back foot just a little bit, set up to it, have my hands ahead at address, which putting that weight on the front side will help me do that. And I'm just going to rock the shoulders back and forth as if this were a 60-foot putt. Actually, the last little bit of this is going to go uphill, so I'm probably going to add about 5 feet and treat this like a 65-foot putt. Now the pitch shot for me gets a little bit more complicated. There's a few differences here between the way I chip and the way I pitch. The chip is definitely the simplest shot I have in the bag. Anytime I can use it, I'm going to use it. With the pitch, however, I'm still going to keep my weight on my lead side. I'm still going to play the ball kind of in the middle. I might go a little more forward. I may go a little back. It just depends. Like I said, I'm really instinctive with this. I've got a 60-degree in my hand, but I could easily swap out and play the 54. I might open the club face just a little bit, or I might square it up. Generally, for a general, basic, all-purpose pitch shot for me, I'm going to play it kind of in the middle of my stance, weight on the front side, club face slightly open, and this time, instead of just moving my shoulders back and forth, I'm really thinking about using the club head to toss the ball to to the spot that I've picked out on the green. All right, so the first pitch shot we're going to start out with is probably going to be a lower or mid trajectory shot. I want it to fly probably, I'm going to say 2/3 of the way to the hole and then roll out a little bit. So I'm going to play a square club face, put the ball maybe a hair back in my stance, get my weight on my front foot and keep it there. And I really want to think about the spot on the green that I've chosen, which is going to be just on that side of the valley. And I want to just toss it kind of low and let it run there. So I'm going to do the same thing now with the golf club. Toss it and it's going to roll. There you go. So that is a little bit lower trajectory pitch with a 60. If I wanted to go even lower than that, I could switch to the 54. But let's move on to a little bit higher pitch shot. And trying to play this one higher, I want to throw it well past the valley and get onto the uphill slope. It's probably going to carry about 3/4 of the way, which I think is about 45 feet, give or take. I'm going to play the ball more toward the middle of my stance, maybe even toward the front, possibly even open the face up just a smidge. And again, I'm going to feel that toss. And this time when I visualize it and I try and feel it, I'm going to feel it leave my hand higher and track higher. So I've picked out my spot just where the yellow begins. Sit right here on it, tilt my shoulders back just a little bit, feel the toss. Imagine the toss and see the spot. Carried it a little bit further than I wanted to, but it's dead at it. I mean, that feel, when you feel it with a pitch shot, that's everything to me. That is the essence of my short game. It really is. It doesn't matter if I'm 30 feet or if I'm 60 feet or if I'm 40, 50 yards. I am trying to take that golf ball and throw it underhand and let it release either high, mid, or low toward the target. I'm really trying to feel that. And the key is picking out a spot that you want to toss it in. Like there's a bucket on the green and you've got that ball in your hand and you just want to throw it and make it land in that bucket. That's really all the short game is to me. That's it. And if you get the setup correctly and you hold it, then you can really take that and translate it directly over and you'd be amazed how it works. Now, when I'm out practicing my short game, I'll generally take a pile of golf balls and I will toss them out to a general area. I'll let the golf balls fall where they may. I may adjust them a little bit here and there, but for the most part, if they land in thicker grass or a really tight lie, or they land in a divot, or they've got something up next to them, I'll just let the golf balls lie where they may. And then I'll try and play a different bunch of shots, all going toward one pin, so that I have to go through the gamut. I really have to put myself through the ringer and adjust, because sometimes I'll need to throw something a little higher. Maybe I'll need to run it a little bit more. Maybe I don't have the ideal lie that I can just pick and choose, and I've only got one type of shot that I can play from that particular lie, and that's it. I want to try and get all of the golf balls from out there in the field as close to the pin as possible. And generally speaking, I will usually pick a pin that is cut fairly close to the front side of the green facing me to make it even more difficult. There's a big difference with the short game versus off of the tee or out of the fairway trying to hit the green. When you're coming off of the tee or you're hitting an approach shot, you really have a lot of different ways that you can hit the shots, a lot of different club choices. But when you get around the greens, the lie, how close or how far the pin is away from you, the rough, the sand potentially that you're in, it really starts to narrow down your options, and your options are pretty much chosen for you. And many times there's only one shot that you can play. It's so much dictated by the lie around the greens. Therefore, you have to be adaptive. You can't just say, well, this is my standard chip and I'm going to practice it, and this is my standard pitch and I'm going to practice it. You have to be adaptive. You have to be able to change what you're doing with the club in order to get all of these different results, because at the end of the day, there might only be one shot that you can play to get it close to the pin. The short game is what people practice the least. And it's probably, I don't know if I can say that it is the most important part of the game, But if you listen to all of the experts and the coaches and the high-level players out there, they're all telling us to practice 100 yards and in. I think it's for the very reasons that I just mentioned. It's because it has to be adaptive, but at the same time, your room for error is so much smaller as well. A great shot off the tee is anywhere in the fairway over 200 yards. A great shot from the fairway to the green is anywhere on the green, really, for us amateur golfers. But when you get around the green, there's very few places that you can put that golf ball to where you can say, yes, that was a good shot, or no, that was not such a great shot. So this is where you need to put in most of your practice, and it's also the toughest part of the game for so many people. Gonna hit one more here to leave you with. I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm just gonna pick a spot, and then I'm gonna throw it to it. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. Hit thumbs up on this video if it helped you out, and I'll see you in the next video. That's pretty close. I thought I was gonna go in for a minute.